I know you are. I know you are.
Definitely. So I wanted to talk to you about the team's recent 3-point shooting. Was there anything kind of in those 3.5 games that you're starting to see consistently different in how teams defend you, or was it just more a matter of kind of random variance? Was it just kind of a thing of needing to kind of get the passing going a little better than what you
had? Yeah, I mean, I think as the year goes on, as you all know, like teams adjust to how teams are playing. Some teams are playing differently to how they have in the past, and whatever. Obviously, I think by now teams realize we want to push the ball. We want to shoot threes. We're trying to shoot probably at times like too many. We probably shoot sometimes in consecutive plays, but that's what we're looking for. We've got basically 4 guys out there all the time that shoot a high percentage, and obviously we feel like as a team we take good shots. So I think sometimes we get stuck in not necessarily like hero ball, but trying to kind of get a lead back in 1 or 2 possessions instead of moving the ball. And I think the couple games that we weren't getting as, obviously there's a part of it is the game plan. Teams are going in there trying to run us off the line now. But a part of it, I think you said it just towards the end about just getting the ball moving. When we move the ball like we normally do and how people, I think teams expect us to move the ball, we get really good shots. And sometimes we just get stuck. I think when we either don't have good possessions or they're playing well offensively, we're not getting stops. We kind of more try and rely on our offense, when I think we all know, especially within our group, that we should be relying on our defense getting stops, because then we can obviously get out there and run and push the ball and shoot in transition and get downhill. And that's when Rudy's running, we can get him on the rim. And that's when we, I guess, feel like we're playing our best.
Tony Jones, The Athletic.
Joe, you guys have gone a lot of the year with, either you out or Mike out or Donovan out. Like, one of your offensive initiators out tonight. It's likely you'll have multiple offensive initiators out for probably the first time all year. What's the adjustment that you have to make individually, Donovan has to make individually, and that you guys have to make collectively as a team to the guys being out that'll be out tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously other guys will get other opportunity or more opportunities to be out there and play either more minutes or some minutes if they haven't played. I don't know what that rotation is going to look like. Obviously, that's on the coaching staff, but I think for Donovan and I, just a bit more, not pressure, but just to make sure we are running what we want to run. Obviously, Mike is a hell of a point guard, and when he's out there with either the starters or kind of that second stint that he plays with, where me and him play together a little bit, just getting into our offense and knowing what we're running is very fluid, because we're so, I guess we're used to it as well. And obviously their IQ, Donovan and Mike's, when they're running the point. So obviously I got more kind of emphasis on Donovan and I to control the tempo, control what we're running, what we want to do. Getting the guys the ball where they want it, getting into the sets we want to get to, regardless of zone, full court pressure, whatever they're in. So obviously I'm comfortable playing point and initiating our offense, and obviously you guys know Donovan is as well. So we'll figure it out on the fly a little bit. We obviously don't have a choice. It's the first time, and JC obviously just, I don't even know what he did, rolled his ankle or whatever it was. So when we get him back, we'll get him back. And Mike is, like you said, kind of been in and out with the management stuff. So we'll figure it out. It's honestly like the last thing I'm worried about, to be honest. I got to get home, get a nap, pick my kid up from school. Got a lot to go on before I get to the game.
Sarah Todd, Deseret News.
Joe, have you noticed any sort of specific differences in the treatment regimens that you guys are going through this season, considering so many back-to-backs and the kind of scheduling that you are having to deal with? I wonder if there's been maybe more attention to detail or care taken in those areas.
I don't want to sound like arrogant or anything, but I feel like we're the best at that regardless. We're not just the players, I mean, in terms of our training staff that we've got. Mike Elliott will no doubt retweet that quote if you tweet it, because I think they won training staff of the year last year. And Mike is very proud as well. They won it in Phoenix one time as well, like in 1972 when he was there, or whatever year it was. But honestly, like the passion and care and dedication from those guys as well to be here whenever we want them to be here, basically, to make sure we're all on the table pre-practice or pre-shoot around, to make sure we're all on the table post-practice and shoot around. The ice baths, obviously the facilities we've got here, as you guys know, and at Vivint as well. The facilities are, I can't comment on other teams, but I would argue that there would be many, if any, better than what we've got. So we're very lucky with the situation we've got, the people that are employed here. Obviously, a part of it does fall on the players. You've got to be accountable yourself to come in early, stay later. Obviously, there's bits and pieces you have to do yourself, but I feel like as a whole organization, from top to bottom, we've got the right players that know what they need to do, and then obviously the staff that, if you need some guidance or just need to be told what to do, they're there to do that. So it's a very comfortable situation here when you've got those people kind of like planning out your daily schedule or what you need to do.
You guys have got, I mean, you're one of the few teams that have had to deal with like large COVID problems or large injuries this season. I mean, is that just that balance between good staff and the players being, I guess, accountable?
Yeah, I mean, the COVID stuff's, I think, is a completely different ball game to the injury stuff. I think the COVID is, what we have to deal with COVID is the players and staff, like whoever's in our kind of tier or whatever they're calling it, just being like as smart as you can. I think I said it in the preseason or whatever. Like, you've just got to be as kind of dedicated and not necessarily like passionate about it, but like the dedication to not do anything silly, to not put yourself in a situation. I mean, I know my kind of only risk I'm taking is my kids going to school. Like, I'm not going to pull my kids out of school. Like, I can't at obviously the ages they're at. So everyone's got their own things that they have, whether it be family coming in and out or whatever their situation is. But I feel like a team from that standpoint is really good and really aware of what it means. Like, if you end up catching COVID at some point, like, it's whatever the 10 to 12 days, like initially, there's no way our training staff's letting you right back with 10 days off. So it's another probably 5 to 10 days of getting back in the rhythm of what you need to do and how you need to feel. So if that's a big piece of your team that you're out for 20 days, that's a pretty big hit. So I think we've done a really good job of that. Obviously, we've got a long way to go with it. We're not at the finish line yet, so guys need to stay on top of it. And the injuries wise, I think it goes back to everybody and players knowing what you need to do, like whether you need to lift more than someone else or recover more or ice bath or get on the table and get some kind of hands-on treatment, whatever it is. I mean, if you guys were here from when guys got here to when they left, you would see how long guys spend on either end of practice to make sure we're ready, which is, again, I don't know what other teams do, but I would say it's fairly rare, the amount of time and effort we put into it. Sorry for the long answer.
Kristen Kenny,
That's
Jess TV.
Way too many characters on Twitter to tweet.
Hey, Joe, last time you guys faced the Wizards, I know that was a turning point for you guys, and it pointed out a lot of things about your team. I know transition defense, one of them, but how much do you look back at that film that night? And, in terms of focusing on transition defense against a fast guard in Westbrook, what other things can you do there to tighten that up?
The only thing I remember was my career high, to be honest with you. I don't remember nothing else, but no, it was a very obvious game of, I guess, of what was happening, and they pushed the ball, make some misses. It's a little bit like some other teams we've played recently. They want to get up and down. There's a lot of teams doing it this year, but yeah, Russ is getting it, make or miss and pushing it, either getting on the rim, kicking out for teammates. I think his numbers probably speak for themselves the way he's been playing this last few months or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, it's on all of us. It's not on that one matchup. It's not on whoever's guarding him to get back and try and stop him himself. He's a pretty big force when he is going at full speed downhill. So yeah, that's on. I mean, it's a team thing. It's something we just talked about in film. It's obviously an emphasis of the game, and I think if we do a good job of that, it puts us in a good spot. Because I feel like one of the referees asked me the other night, like, why we Euro foul so much in transition. And I think it's, I mean, I know why we do it. We do it because our half court defense is so good. But he said to me, like, you're only 3 fouls in the half or the game with Euro fouls. And I was like, well, I obviously don't have fouls and we want to stop transition. So I'm going to use it to set our half court defense. So I think same thing as that, like if we make or miss, we've got to run back, because when we do get back and get set, we're a really good team.
Andy Larson, Salt Lake Tribune.
Joe, you guys are on pace for the most threes by any team ever. What was there? I mean, when you first joined the Jazz, this wasn't you guys. You guys were pretty an average 3-point shooting team. Was there like ever a point where you just kind of leaned into it and knew that, hey, this is what I'm going to have to do. This is who I'm going to have to be in order to play the style of offense Quinn wants? Was there ever like a turning point there?
You mean individually or as a group?
I guess more collectively.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of that, the first thing that comes to mind is like personnel. Obviously, it's not like I'm shitting on the guys that were here previously, but if you look at the kind of we played 2 bigs for my first 3 years, maybe 3 or 4 years with Rudy and Fave, or Anderson Rudy or Anderson Fave, whatever the lineup was. So that's already kind of one less shooter out there. And then, I mean, you look at our guys we had then compared to now, like Gordon was a more of a mid-range. He would shoot threes, but he wanted to get on the rim mid-range. I mean, Rodney Hood was the same, wanted to get on the rim, that little post up that he had, like stuff like that. If you look at our team now, I think we have the personnel, obviously that wants to shoot threes. I think I said it a week or 2 ago, whatever it was. I think we envisioned this 12 to 18 months ago when we first kind of got this group and added JC, and but then we just never, not that we didn't get in a rhythm with it, I guess, but thinking about it, like shooting in transition and shooting a 3-on-2, shooting a 3 instead of getting on the rim, like those type of things are not as natural when you've played. It might be a bit more natural to Donovan when you've come out of like college and this is the first bit of NBA you've seen. And when I first got in, we were like throwing it in the post to Ennis every second or third play. Like it was a different style. So, yeah, I think we envisioned it. We obviously last year with the injuries and trading for JC at whatever point and doing that. And then I think coming into this year, it was even more of an emphasis to just like, we've got good shooters. We've got bigs that run. We've got a good defense. If we can play defense, rebound and get out, we're going to get opportunities to shoot them. And I think we've been committed to it. I think games that we started like 0 of 7 or 0 of 8 last game, but we were shooting shots that we wanted to take. Like we feel like if we take enough of the good shots we want to take, enough are going to fall, and we'll obviously be in a position to win a game with that and our defense as well.
Next up, Dan Waike, LA Times.
Yeah.
Good to see you. How are you?
I love how you got your last name in brackets next to your name.
No one can say it. That's why I got to make sure I put it out there. It's good for the brand that way.
Waike.
There it is. Joe, 5 years ago, tomorrow, you were on the court for Kobe Bryant's last game. A 50-shot, 60-point sort of masterpiece. What was it like playing in that game? And what was sort of the reaction to just sort of the sheer volume of what he was doing out there?
I think going into the game, we knew there was going to be a volume of shots that might not have been or was going to be some type of record. I don't know if it is actually a record or not, but I'm sure it's got to be a record of something. There's some kind of record that he broke, I'm sure. I mean, going into it, obviously, I think we were in a position where we were like 9th, but we needed someone to lose before us, and then we needed to win. And the team before us won anyway, so I think we were out regardless, even if we'd won that game. So a bit of a different mindset in terms of knowing, not that the game didn't matter, but we weren't going to the playoffs regardless. in terms of like the game itself, and like there was nothing in our meeting or with coach. Like we wanted to win the game regardless. Like I think spoiling his last game would have been really fun for us as much as like you try to do it, but we knew how kind of like hyped up and excited they were going to be as well. Like it was a special night. To be a part of it was something I'll always remember. I've got a really cool photo of me guarding him at one point. Someone sent me. Just a really special night. I think early on we realized too, like in the first quarter, like he was going to get enough attempts up to get if he made a few of his attempts, he was going to have a big night. I don't think we envisioned what kind of happened, and then I think we had a pretty big lead or a decent lead at some point, and they got it back, and he actually made some like really big clutch shots in the game. So I do remember one part of warming up. We ran out and we were getting ready to warm up, and obviously, as you guys know, like you have your whole half court usually to warm up. We ran out, and media was from like 3-point line to 3-point line, all facing like their end of the court. So we just had like 50 people in the middle of the court with their backs turned to us. So we couldn't even really warm up because we were just stuck in like the 3-point line with like 18 guys or whatever it is. But yeah, really, really cool moment. We all got these Kobe shoes, a limited edition with the date of the game, and I was lucky enough to get them signed by him after and stuff like that. So some pretty cool memories that I'll obviously keep forever.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you.
No worries.
Last question, Mark Medina, USA Today.
Hey, Jay, good to see you. A big picture question on Jordan. What's jumped out to you, not just in terms of how he's progressed as a player, but how he's managed that 6-man role since he's been with you guys?
I mean, honestly, not really, to me, like not surprising at all. Whenever we used to play against him, we would always like joke in the locker room and when he got here to his face, like that he was just always like ready to go. Like no matter if he came off the bench, if he started, whenever he got the ball, he was trying to score. Like that was like the scouter. You knew he was going to be aggressive. You knew he was going to try and score. I think it's what makes him so good at what he does is he's in that mindset like 24/7. Like you could walk past him out there, he's probably trying to score on someone somewhere with something in like any way, shape or form possible. So I think coming here is, and again, I didn't watch him much except for playing against him, obviously, but I think we were joking one time. Someone tweeted to me and him one time, and he was telling me about it, that our shot charts together versus like a few years ago versus now, and his was like all mid-range, probably a lot of tough mid-ranges, I would say, playing against him, where now it's like threes and rim. And I think for him, that clarity of he can get to whatever spot he wants to get to whenever he wants to get there. So for him to take the time to Nash dribble under the hoop and get it and get his little floater that he can get, or break the paint off a swing, and he's downhill and he's on the rim. And then obviously I think everyone knows just how aggressive he is shooting the three. It's a really good thing for our group. I think having someone come off the bench, he knows what he's doing. Like I said, he knows we want him to be aggressive and to take those shots. So I think he said it in the media, like he was so happy to come here and obviously re-sign, because we just accepted him for who he is. Like we didn't try and change who he was. I think the coaching staff is, like I said, those mid-ranges and stuff that you say, like that's nearly completely gone, and he's on the rim and he shoots threes. And I think that's obviously a credit to both parties. But yeah, he's a hell of a dude. He's a fun guy. You guys should spend a weekend with him. You have a hell of a time.
All right, that's it. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys.